A luxury cruise liner is making history by sailing through the once impassable Northwest Passage. The Crystal Serenity will be the largest passenger ship to successfully navigate the frigid Arctic waterway between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. The ship is now in Radstock Bay en route to New York City. CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg shows us how years of preparation and a changing climate made the journey possible. Peter Greenberg, good morning.
Good morning. You know, efforts to conquer the Northwest Passage have been historically described as voyages of delusion. But in recent years, global warming has drastically altered the landscape. And while the Crystal Serenity may be the first ship of its kind and size to try it, it will likely not be the last. It's been smooth sailing so far as the Crystal Serenity glides through the once ice-choked waters of the Canadian Arctic.
This is where we can start seeing a little bit of ice.
But Captain Birger Vorland and his crew have spent years planning this voyage. Did people tell you don't do it?
People said, really? You doing that? People were trying to find that route for centuries. It was very difficult because this area is frozen over with ice for most of the year.
Long ago, when explorers sailed west from Europe in their wooden ships, they sought a Northwest Passage to the Orient.
One doomed expedition from the 1800s was recently discovered decaying on the ocean floor, a reminder of the many lives lost in the name of exploration. In 1906, Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen became the first to navigate the Northwest Passage successfully. It took him 3 years. The Crystal Serenity will do it in less than 32 days. Because as times have changed, so has our climate. Ice cover has receded dramatically since satellites started keeping a continuous record. NASA calls it the new normal. I suppose the good news is you can do it now, but the bad news might be the reason why you're able to do it now because of climate change.
There is climate change. There's no doubt about that. The temperatures are higher. The ice melts more. A small window in late summer has now developed where it's navigable probably for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks a year.
But the captain has left little to chance. The luxury cruise liner is accompanied by an ice-breaking boat and 2 helicopters.
We have put on a lot of new equipment on the ship. We have a forward-looking sonar. We have thermal imaging, one dedicated ice radar, an ice nav system.
If you think of a piece of ice the size of a Volkswagen that's sitting just below the surface, you need those searchlights to help you see it.
Jeff Hutchinson is a deputy commissioner with the Canadian Coast Guard, which is closely monitoring the 900-mile journey. Are you concerned about it at all?
With an appropriate level of planning, with an appropriate level of judgment, with the right experience around you, it can be done safely, it can be done successfully. But make no mistake, this isn't sailing a cruise ship out of Miami.
Roughly 1,000 passengers each paid a minimum of $22,000 for the privilege. Crystal says the entire cruise sold out in just 48 hours. A lot of people paid a lot of money to do it.
They absolutely did, yeah.
Worth it?
I guess all I could say is if I could afford it, I'd certainly be interested.
The route goes through the Bering Strait, north of the Arctic Circle, taking the ship to polar bear territory and remote villages that have seen few outsiders.
Thank you.
There's some benefit here.
When we first heard about it, we thought it was tremendous. It was something in an area where so few people will ever go. It's great to read about it. It's great to watch it on a video or in a movie, but seeing it for yourself is very special.
But critics question the potential cost to this untouched region. The World Wildlife Fund told CBS this morning that while the Serenity has done some things right, we do not have the rules necessary to reduce risks to wildlife and people, nor the infrastructure needed to respond to accidents. It would be ironic if tourism promoting a chance to see Arctic wildlife before it disappears actually hastens that disappearance.
We will be doing everything we possibly can to minimize any impact whatever. We are burning very high-grade fuel to minimize the air emissions. We're taking all our garbage with us. We're not going to offload anything.
They've got to go into the Arctic knowing that it's one of the world's great pristine environments, and they owe it to themselves, to the people who live there, and to all of Earth's inhabitants to protect that environment. It's hubris and humility. A little bit of humility goes a long way in these conditions.
So far, no incidents. The ship is scheduled to arrive here in New York on September 16th after a stop in Greenland. And the cruise line is already selling tickets for their cruise there next year. But of course, that's weather permitting. And another cruise line, Regent Seven Seas, which had been promoting their cruise to the Northwest Passage, just canceled it. because the weather experts are predicting the ice patterns next year are going to be huge.
$22,000 for a ticket.
Yeah.
Better be worth it.
Yeah.
Well,
and how many days again is it?
32 days. So they're
32
midway.
days.
They're midway right now.
All right, what a great
That's beautiful.
story.
Look, don't touch. Look, don't
Yeah,
touch.
it's beautiful.
Peter, thank you.